Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm going to show you how you can make your own Tilt-to-Play car game in Unity. So without further ado, let's get into it. Before we start, I want to show you how this project is going to work. Basically, we're going to use Unity's inbuilt accelerometer functions to allow the player to steer the car based on how they tilt the phone. And so now you may be asking, what is an accelerometer? Simply put, an accelerometer is a gadget in all modern day phones which measures the physical acceleration of a phone. It measures its vibration, its motion, its rotation, everything. We can use some of Unity's functions to gather this information. So in our case, basically, whenever the player wants to turn their car right, they'll tilt their phone a little to the right. We can use Unity's functions to get that number, see how much that the player wants to steer right, and then we can tilt the car that direction. This is going to be a really fun project which I've never done before. So let's get into it. So firstly, what we're going to do is we're going to create a new project in Unity Hub. I created a 3D project and named it Tilt-to-Play Car Game. You can do the same. Once you hit create project, it should take a couple of seconds of loading, but soon it should be ready. Alright, and so next up, we're going to go to the Unity Asset Store, assetstore.unity.com. I'm going to search up for a low poly car asset. I'm going to toggle the free assets button because I want to get free assets, so I don't want to spend any money on this. And in the bottom right, you can see Arcade Free Racing Car. It's a 3D model for a car which I've used in the past, which we can also use for our car. I really liked it, so I'm going to use it again. I click the open in Unity button, and it opens the package manager in Unity. So since I've already used it in the past, I don't need to download it. I just need to import it, and as you can see, I click the import button. But if you haven't used it in the past, you just simply need to download it. There would be a button in the bottom right for you as well. So next up, I open the free folder, and there's 5 prefabs for me to use. There's 5 cars of different colors. I quite like the yellow car, so I'm gonna drag that into my scene. But you can use whichever one you want. Next up, we have the roads. Obviously, in our car game, we're gonna need roads. So I found in the top left, similarly to the old one, I've used this one before, Kajumon's Roads. I've liked it, and for that reason, I'm gonna use it again. Open it in Unity. And next, it's going to open up my package manager like it did before. And since I've already used it in the past, I just need to import it as well. Alright, and so once that's done importing, you're going to see a new folder in your project library. It'll be called Kajumon's Road. You're going to want to open that up, and you're going to see 3 more subfolders. I opened the free subfolder, and inside that there's a folder called Prefabs. Just like you can see me opening that up. There are many assets in here, and they're all very useful. They're roads, they're trees, but I personally chose the 4th one from the left. This is a really flat road with trees surrounding it. This asset's really good looking, and it's best for our purposes. All of that was pretty quick, but to recap, all we did was get some assets for a car and a road. The basic things that you'll need in a car game. We have a car in our scene and a road in our scene. If you need to rewatch it, you're welcome to do so to make sure that you did everything properly. Alright, and so once you've gotten that done, our next step is going to be to set up the car. As you can see right now, it's kind of floating midair, and there's still some more work to do with it. Alright, so the first component that we're going to add to the racing car is a rigid body. Rigid body is kind of a physics simulator. So what you're going to see is that when we play this in the scene, the car is going to fall through the road. It's going to use gravity like a normal car would do, but it's falling through, which is something that we don't want to happen. To fix this, I'm going to select all the parts of the car, all 4 wheels, the body, and the spoiler. And they already have a mesh collider component on it, but I'm just going to check the convex box. This is going to kind of configure the collider properly so that when it falls down, the car is going to actually collide with the road and not just fall through. Alright, and next up, you're going to want to create a new script and call it follow player. What the script is going to do is going to allow the camera to follow the player all the time. So when you open up the script, you're going to want to write the following code. So in the update function, simply write transform.position equals the player's transform position plus the offset of 0, 5, and -10. And up in the top, just simply define the player. Then when you go back to the scene, you just need to drag the player into the scene. And just like that, the camera will continuously follow the player like we intended to. Alright, so now what we have to do is that we have to create a new script for our car. I'm going to create a C# script, and I'm going to call it car controller, as you can see here. Alright, and so when you open that code in Visual Studio, you're likely to see an empty script, but let me walk you through what I've written. Alright, and so in the beginning of the script, we're just going to declare the car speed variable. We can change this in the future, but I set it up for 10 first. Next, we're going to declare the rigid body. We're going to make this private for now, but in the start function, we're going to help define it. And next, we're going to make the public float tilt value. This is going to be the raw value at how much the phone is tilting left and right. So, as previously mentioned, in the start function, at the start of the game, the car rigid body is going to be equal to the rigid body that's on the player. Car rigid body equal get component rigid body. Now that that's done, let's move on to the fixed update. The fixed update is the physics update, so that's what's going to handle the tilting of our car. So, in the beginning, we're going to define the tilt. It's going to be the input.acceleration.normalize.x times 90 degrees. 90 degrees is what a right angle is, and so that's just some basic math that will help adjust the tilt value. Next, we're going to have a movement vector3 variable, and this is just going to move the car forward at all times. And then to go with that, we're going to move the rigid body by the movement variable. And then next, what we're going to do is we're going to create a quaternion target rotation. The target rotation has to do with the tilting of the car. This is the real tilt-to-play. And simply put, that is just a quaternion.Euler. We're going to use that function. We're just going to move its y rotation by its tilt value. Lastly, we're just going to move rotation by the quaternion that we just defined. Doing all that, I know that was a lot of code to wrap your head around, but doing all that is just going to make this car work like originally intended. It's really smooth, and if you have anything that you want to add to this, you are welcome to do so as well. Alright, and so after all that coding, you're probably guessing, are we going to test it? And we are. Since this is going to be a mobile game, we're going to have to tilt the phone left and right. We're going to use a Unity app called Unity Remote 5. If you don't already know what that is, it's okay. I have a tutorial on this very channel that you can look at. It's only 2 minutes, and it'll help you a lot. Alright, and so once you have your Unity Remote 5 app ready, like I just previously mentioned, you can open up this game and start testing it. I've done the same, and it works like a charm for me. I hope it does for you. It moves left and right just like how we planned it originally. But keep in mind that this is a game, so we have to add something special to it. Obviously, we need a goal for our player to achieve, so let's get to work on that. Alright, and to make this game a game, we're going to add some coins. Some coins for the players to collect to increase their score. Now we're going to go back to the Unity Asset Store, and I found these really good gold coins that were completely free. I'm going to follow the same method that I used last time to download and import those assets. And now that I've finished that, now you can see in my Unity assets, there's this folder with all the downloads I got. So now you can find the gold coins inside that folder. And as you can see inside the scene, it does look pretty good, but it's super small. Like, they are gold, it does look pretty nice, but it's super small. So I'm going to increase the scale. I'm going to make the scale 10, around 10, and that's a lot more visible. So I'm going to create a new empty folder inside my hierarchy, and I'm going to call it all coins. This is where we're going to store all the coins in the game. So what I'm going to do now is one coin won't cut it, right? We need more coins for the players to collect, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this coin maybe like 10, 11 times. And I'm going to increase the scale a little bit more to 15 to make it just a little more visible. But yeah, I'm going to duplicate it over and over again, and you can do the same. I have about 3 coins, and I'm going to put them all on the road. So now after doing all that, I duplicated like 7 times, but obviously you can do more depending on how many coins you want the player to be able to collect. But that being said, I'm going to highlight all the coins. I'm going to add a mesh collider to them like we did before, and I'm going to add a tag to them. I'm going to add a coin tag, a new tag, so that in the script we can identify the coin objects. Now, once we add that tag to all the coins, I'm going to open up the car controller script we were on earlier and scroll down in the code. I'm going to create a new function, a new onCollisionEnter function, and if what this function is saying is if the car collides with the coin, add 5 to the coin counter score and change the score text to whatever coin counter we have. The coin counter in this case is really like the amount of coins that the player has collected, our score, right? And so you might have some errors doing that, but what we're going to do to fix that is that we're going to scroll back up, as you can see, and we're going to just define the coin counter in the start. We're going to say the coin counter is equal to 0 because obviously when the game starts, the player has 0 score. Now, our last step is that when we go to the car controller script in the game in Unity, we're just going to assign the score text to the actual text. If you don't have a text object in your scene, all you have to do is create a canvas in the hierarchy like you can see on my screen. And then inside that, you can just create a new text and call it score text. Put it in the top left. And then right there, we'll be able to see the player's score. You may notice that this game has all the fundamentals. It has a tilting car like we promised before and some coins, right? But I really enjoy when people use their own creativity to make their own games, because obviously making your own games isn't just about making the same game as someone else, but using your own creativity. So that's why I want to challenge all of you guys to create your own game based off this, to add some new concepts, whether it be like spawning something other than coins, making an AI enemy, whatever it is. But make sure to drop a comment and tell me how you do. Subscribe and share. Thank you. Bye.